Okay, so let me start. I have a team member on the call. Sanvi is an intern with GenWe, and she's been helping me with the communication part of GenWe for launch. तो पहले तो कि कोई भी नाम होता है उसको ढंग से इंट्रोड्यूस कर देना चाहिए. GenWe, and the name GenWe basically comes from the fact that people today are living in bubbles of I, me, you, them. And we wanted to inspire the younger generation to step out of those bubbles of I, me, you, them, and be part of a broader generation of change makers. And that's why GenWe. Right? And our whole mission is bringing the world closer together. So if I had to first introduce myself, I'm the founder of GenWe. And मेरी जिंदगी दो images में अगर मैं आपको दिखाऊं, तो पहले 25 साल जो मेरी नौकरी मैंने की, my life was with PepsiCo. And I always say it was about making bubbles. And the second part of my life is about breaking bubbles, which is GenWe. Right? And the whole philosophy that GenWe follows is that in a world divided by differences, youth from different backgrounds coming together is our only hope of creating a more inclusive tomorrow. And our legacy would be to develop them as global inclusive leaders and resilient leaders by providing them the right platforms, the right tools. And if we empower this super smart young generation, then for years to come, centuries to come, this problem of exclusion, discrimination, and bias can go away. Okay? So that's why from making bubbles, I jumped into breaking bubbles, because I genuinely believe that the world can be a better place for our children and our grandchildren. What I'll share is the problem that we are trying to solve, how GenWe works, what are the benefits, and how GenWe can be implemented. Kahin bhi koi sawal ho, please jump in and ask the question. I normally don't look at the chat feature for questions. So आप unpause कर लीजिएगा, या Sanjay, Rajesh, if you see a question, just interrupt me.
Sure.
So jumping into what GenWe does and why it does what it does. So if you, 1 minute, let me just go. So our world has become more divided in the last decade. And I'm not talking about India only. I'm saying globally, jahan bhi aap dekho, intolerance to different race, different religion, different culture, different socio-economic backgrounds, different perspectives has become more prevalent. And this is increasing discrimination, bullying, hate crimes, social unrest. Like I said, our only hope of ending this discrimination is with the younger generation. And जब भी हम younger generation की बात करते हैं, there's always good news and bad news. The good news is this younger generation is super smart academically, much smarter than our generation. The bad news is because of how society has evolved, they're growing up in social bubbles and they are under huge pressure and emotionally stressed. Let me talk about why they're growing up in social bubbles and why they are emotionally stressed. Like I said, it is because how society has evolved. It's a super smart generation growing up in social bubbles because there's disintegration of joint families that taught us relationship skills at an early age. मेरे तो 20 cousin थे, 21 cousin थे. Some used to come from villages, some used to come from small towns, some used to come from the US, and we used to spend summer holidays together. And जैसा होता है 21 लोगों में, some people you like, some people you don't like, but you adjust, you learn to adjust. The first lessons in relationship management. Increasingly, there's segregation of schools based on economic status, which is reducing the opportunity to interact with people from different backgrounds. So bubble और छोटा हो गया. These kids are spending more time on social media and lesser time in playgrounds. And in playgrounds is where you meet real people, you learn street smartness, you learn negotiation, you learn power dynamics. Right? So no fault of theirs. It's just how society has evolved, that they are in their own social bubble. Secondly, they're under huge pressure and emotionally stressed. There's academic stress from grades to college admissions. They deal with these issues on an ongoing basis. There's social stress from looking good to fitting in. They're surrounded by world events like school shootings to wars. They're growing up in a fractured world where differences in race, religion, ideology has increased. There's blurring lines between real and artificial, from fake news to projected images. Teens are dealing with an increasingly unreal world, causing various kinds of uh, pressures and emotional wellness issues on them. I genuinely believe academics only will not guarantee success. The young people will also need the leadership skills and resilience to succeed in the real world. And I believe they do not need more pressure for academics. They do not need more social media. They do not need more virtual reality, artificial reality, artificial intelligence. Instead, they need leadership skills. They need emotional resilience. They need real world connect outside their echo chambers that they're surrounded by. And that is what GenWe is trying to solve for globally. How do we help the younger generation break out of their social bubble where they are trapped and develop them as emotionally resilient global future leaders who will help to bring this world closer? What is our mission? Our mission, very, very simply, is to bring this fractured world together by developing 1 million global young leaders in 5 years who will bring the world closer with every pair, every conversation. And for every pair, every conversation, GenWe measures, are they building trust? Are they building relationship? Are they building empathy? Are they building inclusion? And for each pair, if these four things are moving in the right direction, then we are living up to our mission of bringing the world closer together, one pair at a time, right? which is what we want to do by creating dialogue. Now, that's the problem that we are trying to solve. Let me share how GenWe works. At a very high level, GenWe is an ecosystem that pairs young people from different backgrounds to make them global citizens. The pairing happens automatically, it's online. It helps these young people build 6 real-life leadership skills for future success. It makes experiences fun and engaging. Everything that they do is gamified. So they keep building up a credit score or a credit history of doing good. And the platform is safe and secure. We follow global safety and privacy standards. Just to make sure that there is no confusion, we are not another platform for edtech or language skills or coding skills. We are very focused on building social leadership skills for a better tomorrow. We are not about followers. We are about making a real friend. We are not about looking good. We are about being yourself. We are not about collecting likes. We are about being understood at this critical age where you're trapped between a child and an adult. Okay? And that's why we call ourselves the world's first unsocial media platform, because it's focused on building one-on-one deep, meaningful relationships, unlike social media platforms where it's 1:1 millions. And we do that by pairing teenagers from different backgrounds and helping them learn 6 leadership traits and become global citizens for a better tomorrow. This is how the entire GenWe process works on a page. Right? So GenWe is an ecosystem, it's an app. We tie up with schools, we tie up with youth organizations, we tie up with companies for employees' children. And these teenagers download the app and they fill in certain details. I'll take you through what details they fill in. And 2 teenagers from different backgrounds get paired based on a matching algorithm. How does that pairing, automated pairing happen? It's based on gender. So it's male to male, female to female. They have to be of the same age, plus minus 18 months. They need to speak the same language. And very, very importantly, the strength of person A has to be what person B wants to learn, and the strength of person B is what person A wants to learn. That's a very important criteria in our pairing. Why do we do that? Because we want to equalize the power equation between teenagers. Otherwise, the person who speaks better English, या जिसके पास iPhone है, that person becomes more powerful in the relationship. Here, it is about mutual give and take from day one. It's about mutual benefit, mutual learning. Once they get paired, they start a unique journey of learning leadership skills. So the first pillar of the program is what we call learning from pairing. Every hour that the pair spends adding value to each other through dialogue gets converted into points once validated by the back office. So there are two important things here. It is about mutual value add, and there is a quality check process that's built in whether those dialogue is going in the right direction. I mentioned that we measure relationship, trust, inclusion, empathy. So we keep doing a quality check if they're learning from each other and if they're building their relationship or not. So that's the first pillar, which is learning from pairing. The second pillar is learning from doing. We get these pairs to do UN SDG projects, mini projects. And as they finish these projects, they earn points for the projects. The third is learning from experts. We host online programs, webinars, guest speakers of different types of different topics, which are focused on leadership skills. As they attend these programs, there are pop-up quizzes that keep asking them about their understanding about the topic, etc. And it gets converted into points again. So all three, learning from pairing, learning by doing, learning from experts, whatever they do on the platform, it keeps getting converted into points. This total A plus B plus C, this total score becomes their GenWe score and is visible to each individual. And my long-term hope, dream, aspiration is that on one side, through the entire GenWe program of creating dialogue between people from different backgrounds, getting them to contribute to society, getting them to contribute to themselves by learning leadership skills, this GenWe score can be used for schools and college admissions and employment for teenagers. So you're not only developing global leaders, but this point system can also help them in the future to get gainful employment, because anyone who's been through this journey, it shows that they are inclusive leaders who care about society and who care about differences. So that's how the entire process works. I will show you examples of each part of this process. So first, what does the app look like? So these are the screens from the app. Teenagers download the GenWe app. They fill in their profile section.
Is this, sorry, Pawan, is it available now?
It's available on both the app stores. And I will cover some aspects of downloading and partnerships at the end of the presentation. So this is the registration screen. We ask about location, school, name. The third screen and the fourth screen are very important. What are you excited to know more about, and what are you good at? This is what we use for the cross pairing that I was talking about, so that both parties have something to learn from each other and teach each other. Now, just to give you an example from the system, these are two young people from the system today. Sanju is 16 years old. He studies in a public school in Delhi in India. All his close friends study in the same public school and live in North Delhi. So he's in that social bubble. In his spare time, he doesn't step out of that social bubble. He's either on social media or watching shows on his phone. On your right is Ahmed. He's 17 years old. He studies in a private school in Mumbai. All his close friends study in the same private school, live in South Mumbai. So he's part of that bubble. In his spare time, he's on his PlayStation or in a mall with his friends or on social media. Now, Sanju and Ahmed don't even know that the other person exists on planet Earth. Their schools tied up with us. They downloaded the app, they filled in their details, and they automatically got paired with each other. So what does the matching algorithm, which is automated, look for? It looks for age, same gender, social causes that they're passionate about, similar hobbies, same time zone, speak the same language. Along with that, the differences that the app looks for is any one of these socioeconomic differences, different country, different culture, different race, different religion, any one or more of these differences, and very importantly, opposite strengths. So just to show you why and how Sanju and Ahmed got paired, Sanju wants to learn computers and he wants to teach chess. He's the district champion of chess. Ahmed wants to learn chess and he wants to teach computers. So right from the start of their relationship, there's something to give, something to take. There's mutual benefit. Now, that's not enough for them to sustain a friendship. वो तो transactional हो गया कि आप मुझे कुछ सिखाएंगे, मैं आपको कुछ सिखाऊंगा, उसमें दोस्ती तो नहीं हो सकती. That's why we look at what are their other areas of hobbies, interests, and social passions. In this particular case, both of them are crazy about football. They support opposite teams in the English Premiership League. एक दूसरे से झगड़ते हैं कि मेरा प्लेयर ज्यादा अच्छा है, मेरी टीम ज्यादा अच्छी है, but it's a second point of glue in their relationship which creates dialogue around shared passion. And then they speak the same language, English and Hindi. Sanju's English is not very good. His father is a security guard. His mother does not work. The school that he goes to, the quality of English that they teach is not very good. That's an added advantage that Sanju gets of being on GenWe. He gets the entire package of English helper, English bolo free, and he can practice his English with a person like Ahmed in a safe zone. The app is enabled by video feature, calling feature, texting feature. And through that, he, with his new friend, without being judged, he can practice his language skills, which are so important for him to get future job opportunities or college admissions. So that's how the pairing happens. Once they get paired, they start this unique journey of making a real friend and learning from different activities that we get them to do. First, there is a scheduler on the app because teenagers आजकल Prime Minister and CEO से भी ज़्यादा busy हैं. तो just to keep them on schedule, they can schedule their own calls at their mutually convenient time. There's a scheduler. We do ice-breaking activities. Each one gets different kind of questions that they can ask for the first 2 or 3 connects. And we get them to do structured activities for the first 3 connects. In fact, the first activity that they do is to create a team name and a team logo for themselves. Sanju and Ahmed call themselves Team Rasgulla, and that is the logo on the app. They don't have their photographs, they have the team photograph of Rasgullas. Right? And that activity typically is enough to break ice, but we get them to do 2 or 3 other activities together so that we get them to understand each other, communicate with each other, and have fun with each other. Once they get connected, like I mentioned, there are 3 pillars of learning that they go through: learning from pairing, learning by doing, and learning from experts. And this is how the entire learning happens. At the heart of GenWe is dialogue. And that's why the app is enabled by video and calling feature and texting feature. Why dialogue? Because there is no amount of inclusion training, no amount of diversity training that can be as successful as a half-an-hour dialogue with someone who comes from a different background. Through dialogue, people automatically look for similarities first, and then they look at differences, and those differences become interesting instead of being threatening. And that's the science behind GenWe. That's the heart of GenWe, to create dialogue between people from different backgrounds, to enable that dialogue to happen, to create that bridge. And while they're doing that, We surround that dialogue and we create a scaffolding of activities because it's a fragile relationship. We surround it with various activities which creates more dialogue and exchange of ideas between them. So like I said, there are webinars by experts on things like self-confidence, how to manage stress, problem solving. We get them to do mini UN SDG projects related to community and environment. We have experts who facilitate learning games on Zoom, like Global Treasure Hunt, Escape Room, where they compete against other pairs. And there's nothing like competing against others to bond your relationship even more. We have online programs on emotional intelligence, self-awareness, all very simple and self-paced. We invite guest speakers, not people like me who have gray hair, 19, 20, 21-year-old guest speakers who've been through a certain life stage and a journey to come and share their personal authentic stories to inspire the young people. And then we have very simple videos, blogs, and hacks from, it could be a movie scene, or it could be from a book, but very, very simply written, which keeps reinforcing the learnings that they have from the webinars, the guest speakers, the projects, also tells them about current events. Why is the war happening between Russia and Ukraine, and what's the impact on the world? Just to broaden their perspective about things around them. So that's how they keep interacting with each other, getting to know each other, and learning new skills. What are the 6 skills that we are focused on? So the first pillar, learning from pairing, it is about building perspective, where they learn inclusion and empathy and relationship skills. Not learn, they actually practice, and we measure whether they're improving on it. Second one is building awareness, which happens through doing projects, mini UN SDG projects. They learn broader perspective and social awareness. And third is learning from experts, where we bring in different experts. They learn problem solving, self-management, and resilience. Why these 6 skills? Because these are the six skills which will help them become global citizens. These are the 6 skills that make people successful in the real world when they step out from school and college and start working. And as they're doing that, as they're building these 6 leadership skills, it keeps getting converted into a GenWe score, because we measure everything, every text that they send, every call that they have, every video call that they have, every project that they do, every program that they attend gets measured in the background, and it keeps getting converted into points. So they keep building up a GenWe score, which is like their credit score or their credit history of doing good. So that was how GenWe works. Now, let me talk about the benefits of GenWe for different stakeholders. This is more like an advertisement. What is the benefit of GenWe for young adults? It is about real conversation, real learning of new perspectives, real contribution to making the world more inclusive, real skills for the future, real value add to their resume or their CV. And very importantly, it constructively channelizes artificial online time to adding value to themselves and others. And in this, real is the most important word, and that's why I've repeated it. In a world where they're surrounded by VR, AR, AI, this is a real friend, a safety zone where they can have real conversations and express themselves and their insecurities. What's the benefit of GenWe for schools and youth organizations? GenWe enables practicing and developing leadership muscles by pairing students who come from different backgrounds. And muscles are important. Academics is bones. Right? Bones do not work on their own. Bones require muscles around them for the bones to work. And those leadership muscles is what makes people successful in the real world. So that's what we help practicing and developing. It supplements the school's academic curriculum with an easy to implement unique model. And it builds school reputation as a leader in UN SDG goals by developing future young inclusive leaders. What's the benefit of GenWe for society, which is why I started it in the first place? Young adults develop relationship with others outside their social circle, become more socially aware and inclusive. And these young leaders of tomorrow become change agents and help build a better tomorrow. They actually start helping change the dialogue at home, in the living room, on the dining table, where they see discrimination and bias because they've been exposed to someone different, because that someone different is a friend, because they've had dialogues with them. They change the dialogue at home and help people like us rethink about our biases. The last section on implementation, we've tried to make it very, very easy to implement and sustain. Any school or youth organization, they tie up with us. They communicate to parents. Parents support it. The young adults download the app. They fill in their personal details and they automatically get connected with their parent. We take care of everything else: induction, launch, webinars, online programs, pairing, reports, problem solving. We take care of everything. So any school or youth organization, maximum time in a year that they have to spend on GenWe is not more than half an hour to implement and sustain. It's a self-sustaining program. Just to reassure everyone, we follow global safety standards. We are GDPR compliant, and we have several safety measures built in, like 24/7 help feature, weekly check-ins with pair. Importantly, GenWe is not an open community. Right? We do it through B2B tie-ups. When we do open it up for B2C, there is an entire security check process to validate the person who's coming on to the app. Each person only interacts with their peer. So it's not an open community. If I am paired with Vijay Bhai, if we were younger, we would not even know who are the other pairs. We interact only with each other. So GenWe is safer than any social media platform where today's children are exposed to millions of people, or any gaming platform that young people use today. So imagine why the reason why I spoke to Kanika, Ash, and Ashraf and Akshit. The reason why I wanted to be on this platform to share with all of you, that if all of us come together with the youth that we have in our organizations, imagine the power of thousands, millions of youth who are paired with someone from a different bubble, having conversation, developing meaningful relationships, and getting ready to be leaders of tomorrow. Imagine the change that can happen, even if they open up their minds by half a degree because now they have a friend from a different background. Imagine what an impact it can make in totality, where they will help us to change the conversation about inclusion. They will help us change the conversation about discrimination. So that's all I had about the GenWe program. I'll stop and take some questions, because the next section is about a contest that we are launching in the next 15 days. And I would love to take all of you through the details of that contest and get all your members who are between 13 to 19 years old. That's what GenWe is for them to participate. But I'll take questions and then I'll transition to the next section.
Yes, thank you, Pawan. It was fantastic presentation. I think this is what the younger generation needs more powerfully, and all of us are engaging with young people. So I think it's a good time to get some queries, questions from the audience. So if you could, if people can unmute and ask question. One question I had was, what is the duration of this, what you call the engagement? Is it a short term, long term? How it works? The query I had, and any fee you have for the registration.
Okay. Vijay Bhai, the duration is as long as the friendship is there. If they find that they are friends and they want to keep sharing, they continue on the platform. Agar wo naturally they drift apart, then so be it. We do not force or we do not prescribe any time that you have to be there for at least 3 months or 6 months or 9 months. We leave it to the power of the relationship, the power of the dialogue to sustain it. There is no fee for not-for-profit organizations, for public schools. There is no fee at all. It's free of cost. When we tie up with organizations, we do charge them some money in order to sustain this project, because we haven't done any funding of this project. I self-fund it, and I fund it through the tie-ups that we do with companies.
Right. Yes, from the audience, anybody?
वैसे वीडियो ही ऑन कर लें सब लोग.
जी जी. Yes, Rajesh.
खोल लेते हैं बातें. मेरे को तो बहुत मजा आया, बहुत मजा आया. This is the first time that I sort of experienced the entire idea actually. For one, I remember when we were developing Jagri Quotient, I think 2-3 years ago. This time I think this was sort of something the passing mein we sort of talked about, but never really. I think it has reached a space. It looks really amazing. Kafi unique hai, and I love this this global vision that you have, Pawan. You know,
Yes.
World's first unsocial platform, and breaking boundaries and whatnot. I think very unique. Thanks for sharing. I think
Thank you.
I'm on board. I would love to sort of take this to the community of young people that we have, for sure. There is no doubt about it. मैं पहले wait करूँगा सबके questions का, then I will sort of place a few questions that I have.
Sure. Thank you, Rajesh.
Hi, Pawan. This is Pratyush. Great presentation and lovely concept. मेरा question ये है कि can an individual make more than one friends if they are curious? अगर मैं होता, I would have made 15 friends. क्या ये possible है? That is one thing. And second, you mentioned that you measure these skills, empathy, relationship building, leadership. So how do you measure it? How do you see that empathy hui hai? I mean, that's a very generic question for the whole coalition, but I'm curious to know about your app.
Okay. So first question.
ये sorry Pawan sir, jumping in. ये दो तरीके से हो सकता है कि हम क्वेश्चन सारे सुन लेते हैं इकट्ठे, ताकि आप एक साथ आंसर कर दें, या एक करके भी चल सकते हैं. अब तो
मैं एक करके बोल देता हूँ. कभी-कभी as you become older, your memory goes down. I may not remember all the questions. And also, if someone has a similar question, it'll get answered hopefully with the answers I'm providing. So, Pratyush, you make only one friend, right? And there's a reason for that. And the reason is, as soon as a relationship goes beyond 2 into a third person or a fourth person or a fifth person, chances of exclusion increases. People gravitate towards who are more like them, and the chances of exclusion go up. And that's why we said we'll start with pairs. What will happen 1 year from now is we will introduce a concept called GenWe circles. So after a pair has been together for a year, they get introduced into a circle. That circle will have 10 people, and there it will be on the basis of common interest. So let's say 10 people who are interested in art become the art circle. 10 people who play guitar become the guitar circle. Therefore, you introduce them into a bigger circle on the basis of commonality and already with the confidence of your relationship being solid with your friend.
Right.
Yeah. So that's one. Second, how do we measure? So we spent a lot of time in developing questions to measure relationship, trust, inclusion, empathy, and to see the evolution of the relationship. Any relationship starts off as complete strangers. From complete strangers, you become acquaintances. From acquaintances, you become casual friends. And from casual friends, you become friends. And then you become a support system for each other. That's the stages of friendship. Some people jump stages. But we ask after every interaction that they have, there's a question that pops up, which is related to one of these four pillars: relationship, trust, inclusion, empathy. And those questions keep changing, and we keep recording their responses, their individual response and their paired response, to track how the scores are moving. So if you and I are paired and there is a question that comes up, would you introduce Pratyush to your existing friends? Right? If you give it a 1 on 5, which means no, and I give it a 5 on 5, there is a story there that why is there a gap. So we keep tracking the individual scores and we keep tracking the total score for each pair on each one of these pillars. And we have the ability to see how the pairs are moving on each one of those pillars, and on an overall basis, how the entire community is moving.
Mm.
So a lot of work went into developing those questions itself. And those are very indirect questions. Nowhere do we ask, are you developing empathy? We ask
Right.
about listening. Does your new friend listen to you? Do you feel respected? Do you feel that he's adding value to you? Very indirect questions, but towards those four themes.
Great. Thanks, Pawan.
Hello, sir. I have a question.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. This is Gayatri Deshmukh, and I have joined via Vijay, sir. And my question, firstly, this is a really wonderful concept. And before the session, I downloaded the app just to see what it was like. And I noticed that there was a barrier, like after, like the ones before 2000, who were born before 2004, unke liye it wasn't possible to, log in for, right? So
Yeah.
what I've like after seeing your presentation, what I felt was, since your philosophy deals with, bringing youth of different backgrounds and beliefs on one platform, I felt that I somewhere felt that this could be somewhat restrictive, because the ideals of empathy or inclusivity are more within, not just more, but are more strongly founded within those beyond their teenagers, right? They are also within the youth themselves, and there is also a need to disintegrate such beliefs in this case.
Correct.
So basically my point was that, could there be a chance by which this age group could be broadened?
So Gayatri, great question. Why is it that we are starting with younger people? It's only because before they become older, we wanted to catch them young and open up their minds.
Right.
So that's why, and for us to provide programs, it's better to have a narrow age group where you can provide programs, learning programs, experiences, which they find interesting. If the age band is very wide, then some of them will not find the program interesting, others will find it too childish, etc., etc. So I'll tell you
Right.
what has been planned. In phase 1, we cover teenagers, right? If we are successful in phase 2, so this is for 13 to 19. In phase 2, we'll cover people who are between 20 to 30. In phase
Okay.
3, we will cover people who are older. So for each one of them, it will be a different value proposition. so that they can get paired with someone different and learn. So for example, when we do more older people, we'll do it on the basis of their life stage. The whole idea is to take it right up to 90 years of age, where grandparents who are living alone, whose spouse may have passed away, can be paired with some other grandparent, and they can support each other through regular conversations, stories, sharing about their grandchildren, etc., etc. So over a period of time, we'll cover 13 to 90. But in phase one, we wanted to catch them young and make sure that as they enter the world, they enter with an open mind and they bring the energy that youth typically has about them.
Okay. Nice. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Gayatri. Thank you for asking the question. Very good. Any other questions?
I had a query about the language. Is it in English, Hindi, or how it works?
So mainly it's in English, Vijay Bhai, because when we did research and we spoke to a cross section of people globally, the feedback from most children who are going to public schools was that it's better if it's in English because they'll be forced to learn the language, which is why we did the partnership with English Helper, where everyone gets the package free. Those who need English speaking skills and learning skills, they get the package free. Also, the English has been written in a way that it's very, very simple for people to understand.
Right. Thank you.
I have two questions, very basic, silly questions also. So one is about data. So platform, what kind of data does the platform sort of ask anybody who wants to register on it, and what happens to that data? So
Okay.
for why I'm asking this question, because a lot of the adolescents that we work with, there's this child protection guideline essentially that says that you cannot really take pictures, you cannot, unless there is consent from parents. And you had already mentioned that parents ka consent hona chahiye, support. But generally, photos, mobile number, email ID, anything that basically gets the platform to reach the address, essentially, है ना? Us point of view. So just data ke around a question tha. And दूसरा question was around communication to, let's say, a school or an organization. So how, do you have flyers and videos and this and that? Jo package kya hai that really gets somebody to really quickly jump on it, without really thinking too much or convincing too much. These are the two questions.
Okay, very good. So firstly, on data, the data that we collect, name, school, gender, age, hobbies, interests, those are the data points that we collect from a pairing perspective, the data points that are important. Right? That data is encrypted and is stored on different servers so that even if the data is hacked, there's no one place where all the data is available.
Right.
So मेरा नाम एक सर्वर पे होगा, मेरे हॉबीज दूसरे सर्वर पे होंगे, मेरा फोन नंबर तीसरे सर्वर पे होगा और encrypted होगा.
Right.
From a parents' consent perspective, Child Protection Act here and the most stringent laws are in Europe. Below 13 is when you require consent. Above 13, you don't require consent. So 13, that's why 13 is the minimum age. In some countries, below 16, you require consent. And in those countries, we mentioned clearly when they download the app that you have to take permission of your parents.
Okay. And does the app have the feature जिसमें consent आता है या कैसे होता है?
No, the app does not have the terms of engagement. They have to sign saying that I am this age and they have to send their parental consent.
Right. Okay.
Rahi baat communication to schools and youth organizations, we have flyers which explains what the program is, and typically I send it to principals, and if they want additional information, me or one of my team members makes a presentation to them, similar presentation jo aap logo ko dikhaya, to explain to them what the program is all about.
ठीक है. Thank you. Thank you. हाँ.
जल्दी से ये कवर कर लेता हूँ, बिकॉज जो GenWe प्रोग्राम मैंने आप लोगों को दिखाया, that is like a 5-day test match, right? That's the longer version of the program. हम लोग अभी to get people to come onto the platform to try and to expand GenWe globally, we are launching a very exciting contest. It's the first of its kind across the world. If you remember, पहले बोनवीटा क्विज कॉन्टेस्ट होता करता था जो इंटेलेक्ट टेस्ट करता था लोगों की, बच्चों की. There is no contest across the globe which tests leadership skills of kids. So we are launching this program called GenWe Unite the World contest. Why are we running this contest? Our whole mission is to bring the world closer by pairing young people, जो मैंने आप लोगों को बताया है. We believe each pair, each conversation can make a difference. And this challenge will help teenagers step out of their social bubble with a simple philosophy of pair, act, change the world. So how does it work? This contest is open for 6 weeks. It's exactly the same experience of GenWe, the longer program, but in a shorter time frame. From 15th June to 31st July, teenagers spend only 1 hour a week to unite the world. They download the app, they fill in their hobbies, interests, social passions. And through the unique app, they get paired with a student of the same gender from a different background, exactly like the main GenWe program. They have conversations with their new friend and learn about each other, and they complete valuable life skill webinars and fun activities, exactly like the main program, but this is only for this 6 weeks. The pairs will earn points for each activity they complete. At the end of 6 weeks, the top 10 pairs in the world with the highest points will be declared as the global unity champions, and they will win prizes, including an online exclusive session with Indra Nooyi. She's personally committed to me that she'll give time, 30 minutes on Zoom, to the top 10 pairs who are helping unite the world. There are other prizes for top 20, top 50, top 100, gift certificates, and social media announcements, etc., etc. So this is the big contest we are launching. And I would love to get, again, people from all your organizations to register for this contest. If you're interested in registering for the contest, or if you're interested in participating in the main GenWe program, please send me an email with any questions, anything that you have, and I'll be happy to answer those questions and help your organization register.
ये इंसेंटिव लंबे वाले प्रोग्राम में भी होना चाहिए.
हाँ,
इंसेंटिव लंबे वाले प्रोग्राम में भी होना चाहिए.
लंबे वाले प्रोग्राम में डाल रहे हैं. What we are going to do is, जो points लोग collect करेंगे, they can redeem those points for downloading books, apps, adding value to themselves, or they can contribute those points to educate a child anywhere in the world. So that redemption of points feature will come up next year. So not only will they have an impact on each other, but they'll have an impact on the world by helping a child getting educated by donating their points.
Wow, it's massive ecosystem that you're building. Phases में काफी.
बिल्कुल. बहुत बढ़िया.
तो पवन, ये वाले में तो इसका भी आप भेज दीजिए प्लीज, डिटेल्स, है ना? Because we have roughly I think हमारे लिए भी experience होगा just to understand how this platform is working.
Yeah.
So exactly. we have roughly 200 peer tutors, जिसमें से बहुत सारे हैं जो 19 के नीचे हैं and 13 के ऊपर हैं. And then we have close to 5,000 adolescent girls we are directly working right now. And most of them are from rural parts of India, but I think ये device का थोड़ा सा figure out करना पड़ेगा. But I feel a percentage of that population can also possibly participate.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is एक तो मैं setup कर सकता हूँ quickly in peer tutors के through, because these peer tutors are teaching these adolescent girls. So quickly वो we have a person जो उसको further push कर सकता है, just to get an experience of this. I think ये contest में तो चले ही जाते हैं. दोनों आप थोड़ा सा भेज दीजिएगा मुझे.
मैं भेज देता हूँ. And anyone else who's interested in getting their organization, abhi, don't tell the youth in your organization to download the app directly. It is first better to register that you're interested, because we do want to do security checks as they register. We want to make sure that we are able to send you a list saying, please confirm whether these people are from your organization or not.
Right.
जी. So send us the details. I think जो भी register किए हैं इस webinar में, that we can follow it up with you.
I'll do that.
I think generally what
बढ़िया.
भेज देना चाहिए as information packet, and then let people decide, है ना. I think a PPT,
Yeah.
I think flyer would be important. वो package के साथ अगर भेज दें with a good email, I think it should sign up more. यहाँ पे कुछ लोग हैं बस, I think बहुत सारे लोग आ नहीं पाए हैं. I'm pretty sure if they understand the platform,
Exactly.
get on it.
Definitely मैं भेज दूंगा. But whoever attended, thank you so much for listening to our passion, what we want to do to create a more inclusive world. And I just hope all of us can partner together to make this impact globally, because I think it is absolutely the need of the hour to create conversation between differences.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Pawan.
Thank you. Thank you, Pawan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
और
Thank you,
एक
everyone.
last question है
Thanks.
पावन, ये cross country pairing तो cross country pairing भी होगा, हो सकता है.
हाँ, क्रॉस कंट्री हो सकता है, विद इन द कंट्री भी हो सकता है. जैसे संजू एंड अहमद है, दे आर इन डिफरेंट स्टेट्स फ्रॉम डिफरेंट सोशियो इकोनॉमिक बैकग्राउंड्स, डिफरेंट रिलीजन्स, सो इट कुड बी विद इन द कंट्री और इट कुड बी आउटसाइड द कंट्री.
अच्छा Pawan, do you have this South Asia, what you call thing, or just focusing on the main continents?
No, also South Asia. We are focusing all over the world. The app
Okay.
is enabled to take from people from 200 different countries.
Perfect.
So I'll correct you on that. I'll correct you separately on that.
ठीक है. Very good.
Thank you so much, Pawan.
No, thank you. Thank you everyone for listening, and hope to get all of you as part of the youth in
Yes.
your organizations to be part of the change makers.
Yeah, well
Thank you.
spent. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pawan.
Thank you.
Just,
Okay,
I think
thank
before
you.
yeah, Pawan, you were saying something.
No, I was saying thank you. You were saying something, Sanjay.
Yeah, so I was also trying to close our meeting in the context of what we do as Power of Collective. I think very powerful presentation which resonate with world at large, maybe something that young people or youth workers are looking for. And the way the presentation was presented, very simple language, and it actually gives a great pitch for organization working with young people, youth workers working with different communities of young people. And I think this is what we are trying to do in Power of Collective also. And in the portal, Power of Collective portal that we have already featured GenWe as a powerful tool that youth workers and organization can bring to their young people. And I think it actually enables young people to see a different world from what they have seen and what they have, grown. So to see a different world and to get a vantage like that, to see multiple perspectives through a person, through a friendship, through this connection. So just it will actually create, looking for the scale, and it will actually create a more inclusive, safe, sustainable, and beautiful world. Yeah. So before we close, we have a feedback form
Feedback.
also, which I've shared in the chat box.
Mardia.
And yeah, and also I resonate with what Rajesh said. Some of the people were not able to join. We have the recording also. We can share with the people who want to collaborate or who want to learn more about it. And please let us also take just 2-3 minutes to fill the feedback form, which will here also in the feedback form also you can mention your interest and make the collaboration after this meeting. Yeah. Thank you so much, Pawan. Thank you so much, Vijay Bhai, and all of
Thank
us
you.
for coming
Thank you.
Thank you.
together. Yeah.
Thank you,
Beautiful.
Vijay Bhai, for the
Thank you.
introduction.
Thank you. Thank you, Pawan.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.